Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, self-hosted advantages, Bitrix24. So starting off with pre-sale support, so we can help evaluate your requirements to see if they would be suitable within Bitrix24, and if they are, we can then implement your requirements into the system. For the self-hosted edition, which is the solution we're going to be focusing on today, we can provide our own hosting services for you, and then once the system's set up, we can provide training and ongoing dedicated support to really help make sure you get the biggest return on your investment of using monday.com. Okay, so just to move on to what is Bitrix24. So Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 40 different tools that you can use to manage your business. And there are over 10 million customers that use Bitrix24 around the world, and the system is available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud and we have the Bitrix24 on-premise solution. And prices start from around $49 per month for a basic cloud system and $2,990 for the starting self-hosted edition, which is the Business 50 license. Okay, so in today's Bitrix24 webinar, we're going to be focusing on the self-hosted solution. So this is the most advanced edition of Bitrix24. But first of all, let's just have a look at the actual different editions that are available of the self-hosted solution. Okay, so the self-hosted solution is available in two different editions. So first of all, we have the business edition, and this ranges from the 50 user package up to 500 users. So you're able to upscale as and when required. So say if you were starting on the 50 user pack, you need to maybe upgrade to add more seats, you can move up on those different tiers. So the next tier after the business 50 would be the business 100, for example. And the business edition is the most popular and also I would say the most suitable solution for most businesses based on the number of users you require, and it has additional features that aren't available on the Bitrix24 Cloud system, which you may be on right now. So the business edition also has an extranet site, a help desk module, and an e-learning system. So we'll have a look at some of those in more detail shortly. And this other edition available is what we call the Enterprise Edition. Now, the Enterprise Edition is our most advanced product and allows a company to establish an unlimited number of intranets, which can all be managed by one single global administrator. And that's a really powerful aspect of the enterprise system. Everything can be managed from one central control panel. So for example, let's say a company who operates maybe in multiple countries may want individual sites with different languages for each office. That's a really good example of how you could use the enterprise system to have that separate intranet division feature. Okay, so that's a look there at some of the different features and additions. And let's now focus in on the actual benefits of using a self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. We find ourselves, many of our clients either use a self-hosted edition from the offset, or we have lots of customers as well that actually migrate from a Bitrix24 Cloud to a Bitrix24 self-hosted solution. For some of the benefits that we're going to go through right now, specifically around the source code, if there's specific customizations that you require, then we can use the source code to build those, so we have to move customers to a self-hosted solution. But okay then, so let's go through these benefits in more detail. So one of the main benefits of the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24 is the ability to customize the product. Okay, So we're going to go through the source code later on. It is a fully customizable product, so we can remove the Bitrix branding, add our own corporate branding to the system. So it's a really customizable system. And that moves us on to the branding very nicely. So we can add your own corporate branding to, say, the login page, for example. Also on the extranet site, we can have your own branding. So we can remove the Bitrix elements to this system and have your own corporate feel and look to the system. There is also access to what we call the control panel. Okay, and the control panel is the area essentially for your administration team, who can then make changes to the modules inside Bitrix24. So modules can be configured in really advanced ways within the control panel. And if you are currently using a Bitrix Cloud system, then I think you'll be really impressed with the additional functionality that's available in that control panel. So we'll have a look inside there very shortly as we go through the webinar today. You also have full access to the source code, and this is a key benefit of the self-hosted system, and many of our cloud customers migrate to the on-premise for this requirement and benefit. So with access to the source code, it means we can customize when actually sometimes you couldn't do this on the cloud edition. So it could be a specific requirement can't be customized without the source code. So with the self-hosted, we're able to create that customization for you. And just to mention as well, in terms of the code, Bitrix is built on its own framework in PHP. So changing the source code really should only be attempted if you have lots of experience of PHP as well as good knowledge of the Bitrix platform. And that's where we come in as a partner. We have done hundreds of customizations to the Bitrix24 self-hosted system. It's the system we focus on as a partner. So if you do have any customization requirements, please get in touch at sales@intraface.com and we can discuss those requirements with you in more detail. Okay, another benefit is the capability to integrate. So Bitrix has a full API which is available on the self-hosted system. So it allows you to integrate with thousands of other web applications and systems. So very commonly we've integrated companies' finance systems with Bitrix24. That can be a one-way or a two-way integration. You can decide that. So it gives you that extra layer of flexibility in terms of the customization and the integrations that are available inside the system. And as we briefly mentioned earlier on when we looked at the different editions of the self-hosted system, there are additional features inside the self-hosted system, such as the help desk module and e-learning system. Okay, so just to mention as well, if there are any questions, please do add them into the question box inside the YouTube channel and we'll run through those during today's interval. Okay, so now we'll have a look at some of the customization features that are available with the self-hosted solution. So one of the main reasons for choosing the self-hosted option is that ability to customize the look and the feel of your Bitrix24 intranet. So the site can be customized to match your corporate look, for example, and the functionality can be configured to make using the system a lot more intuitive. So essentially what we can do is we can strip out any features, any modules you don't require. And we find this is really useful for businesses. When you're starting off with the system, you need to get buy-in from the rest of the organization who are going to be using the system. And the best way to do that is by decluttering the system. Only use the features that you need inside the system. And that's one of the key benefits of the self-hosted. We can declutter it, make sure we get buy-in from all of the staff, and essentially in the long term, that's going to give you a bigger return on your investment of using Bitrix24. Okay, so just to go into some more detail then of some of the different ways we can customize. So styling, many areas can be branded, and we'll have a look at an example of this in a moment. In terms of editing, any page inside your Bitrix24 self-hosted system can be edited, and administrators can create custom pages using the page editor wizard. So we'll have a look at that shortly as well. We've just mentioned there around kind of decluttering the system, so in terms of navigation, to improve the user experience and to save time navigating the different modules, the links inside the navigation menu are fully editable. So it's actually possible to display different navigation items for different sets of users. Okay, in terms of dashboards, it's possible to create custom dashboards to display different sets of data on a page. So we've done this before commonly, where you may want to have a sales dashboard where you're pulling specific details and information from the CRM system. Customer portals is another popular feature with the self-hosted system. So available on both the cloud and self-hosted, just to point out, is the extranet site. But this is a very big use case with the self-hosted, where we can actually rebrand the extranet site. We can change the actual pages that are available. Okay, so we have that capability to completely customize what is available on the extranet site. Okay, and finally, all modules are customizable, and it's possible to create your own bespoke modules to perform specific tasks within the business. Okay, so let's now just take a look inside the system. Let's go in and have a look at actually creating our own custom pages. Let's have a look at adding some more details and information inside a self-hosted system. Okay, so here we are in the self-hosted edition of Bitrix. So first of all, we've added our own logo, we've got our own domain here across the top, and on the login page we'll go to shortly, you can have your own corporate branded login page for the system as well. We mentioned about the control panel. So here it's possible to edit pages and edit sections. So we could go into here and go into the page editor to customize information here. This is what you do not get with the cloud edition of Bitrix24. So we can see some of those advanced features that we have available on the self-hosted edition. Okay, so we've mentioned as well how you can create new pages. So one of the common customizations we see inside the system is within, say, the company area, you may want to add new pages inside here to store specific company information, such as policies, for example. So what we're going to do here is show you how you can create your own policy pages directly inside the system. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is by going into the control panel. And we'll just skip through here. We can go into the Site Explorer from the Content section. And from here, we're going to go into the About section, because that's the area in the front end where we're wanting to create a new page. And so when we're inside here in the control panel, what we want to do is add a new file. Videos and images is completely customizable for how you want this to look and feel. Okay, so we've added the page, but now we also need to add a menu item. So we're going to go into the menu section and edit the menu. Okay, so first of all, let's give this a name. So we're going to call this the policies page. And then we need to call and add a link as well. Okay, so we're adding that information there, and we're going to save that information and link that now with the menu. So we can go into the front end of our system now, and we can see here now that policies menu item has been added into the system, and we can click into the policies area, and that information and text has been added into that page. So you can see there, that is one of the key benefits right there of how we can use the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. We can create our own content and pages, and this is so much more advanced than what we can do on the Bitrix24 Cloud system. And then from here, what I may want to do, I could edit this page directly through the page editor tool, like so. It could be maybe I want to pull information from other areas of the system. So let's say I want to pull all of the deal data. So let's save that inside here as well. So you can pull information and data as and when you require. Okay, so let's look at how we can create our own page in the system. We've also mentioned about the customer portal. So let's now go actually onto the portal side here. And you can see straight away the key differences. So the menu on the left hand side, and we can see on the right hand side here, when we go into the customer portal, it's a lot more decluttered and simplified. So on the left hand side, we don't have many items inside our menu navigation. And on the right hand side, we've got some banners to link people to different pages to easily have access to key pieces of functionality. Okay, so on that customer portal where you might want your customers to log into, what we can do is we can rebrand the system, we can select what menu links they're able to access, and then really what we can do is we can completely redesign and configure what information of our self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. Okay, so let's just see if we've got any questions at all. Yeah, okay, so we've got we can go into our area here for the different themes of the system. So if you wanted to actually configure and change the actual theme of your background here, then we could do this inside the system. Okay, if there are any other questions, please do add them into the YouTube question box and we can run through those during the other intervals of today's webinar. Okay, so we've mentioned about having some additional features that are available compared to the Bitrix24 Cloud system. So the features include all of the current available ones on the Bitrix24 Cloud system, but there are additional features available on the self-hosted edition. So one of these is the help desk system. So the help desk is a tool to allow you to manage your customer support inquiries. So customers can log their inquiries on training of employees. So courses can be created and staff members can be set tests to demonstrate their knowledge in a particular subject area. And it's also possible, we have done this as a customization before, to configure a user's profile page to show completed tests as badges. There's also advanced analytics, so it's essential really to understanding the success of an internet project that you have good analytic packages, so we'll see what that is available within the self-hosted edition shortly. So these are just some of the additional features available with the self-hosted version. Many others exist and you can create your own dashboards and pages as we've seen, and there are many other solutions which are currently using other platforms which can be developed on the actual Bitrix24 platform. So if you're wanting to build a custom integration, for example, we're able to do that as well. Okay, so let's just go and take a look at some of these modules in more detail. Okay, so first of all, let's go in to look at the help desk module. Okay, so the help desk module inside here could be for your customers, for example, who can submit support requests to your support team. So when we've logged into our extranet site, what we can do is we can create a new ticket. So inside here, this opens up the ticket form where we can fill in all of our details. The form can be completely customized, so you can decide what pieces of fields and information need to be displayed here. We also have a support wizard, and this is really useful because it allows you to channel the request before it gets submitted. So if we click on the support wizard, we can select from different options. So let's say I select the computer problem, and that then opens up some additional questions that we have to answer. But if we go back and select printer problem, then we can see the question is different and we have a drop down box to select from. So we can see here, based on what that option we checked, we can then go through here and add additional questions that need to be inputted. So that's really useful. So it enables you, before the question gets submitted, you have all of the critical details and information to hand. Then the third way is you can set up a mailbox rule. So if we go into the control panel, and let's go into our services section. Inside here we can integrate mailboxes. So you could integrate our support at mailbox, for example, And we can then create rules. So we could create a new rule on that mailbox. So every time a new email comes into that mailbox, we could automatically create a new ticket inside the help desk module for our support team to manage. That's a really nice feature, and again, it just shows the advanced functionality that's available on the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. So let's go into the help desk system. So inside here we can see all of the tickets for the help desk module, and we can click into any of these tickets and see all of the history about that ticket. So every time we respond to the customer, it will be sent out to them as email. Now within here, what we can also do is we can add FAQs for frequently asked questions, so you can automatically have the answer populated. We can also set up priority levels, so SLA agreements. So based on the customer type, we can set up specific SLA levels for if they're able to respond by a certain time period. And then we can decide who is responsible for dealing with that support ticket. So all the information about the request is then saved inside here. Okay, so that's a look at the help desk module in some detail. If you are interested in having the help desk module set up, if you're on a self-hosted system, okay, so moving on now, let's just have a look at some of the additional features in terms of integration. So there's different integrations that we can manage within the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. So for example, we could set up forms on public-facing websites, and even if that is not a Bitrix24 form, we could embed that information into Bitrix for you to manage. So it could automatically create maybe a post in the activity stream, for example. In terms of emails, we've just seen when we looked at the help desk module how we can create rules on mailboxes. So for example, we could automatically integrate a mailbox and then it creates a help desk ticket inside the help desk module. But there's other advanced integrations we could do. So for example, it could generate a new work group or a task inside the system. And we also have APIs and webhooks. So APIs within the Bitrix24 Self Hosted, it's the most advanced API solution. So it allows you to integrate with other web services. So you might want to trigger the creation of a new process inside Bitrix24. Okay, so moving on to look at the hosting options. So really you have two choices when it comes to hosting on the Bitrix24 system. So for self-hosting, if you're going to host this yourself, we can provide you with a virtual appliance, and this is a free application that allows Bitrix to be running a pre-configured and fully secured virtual environment. So this saves time on product installation and maintenance, and it can improve the overall system performance as well. Then the alternative to that is partner hosting. So we can provide our own hosting services if you do not want to host this yourselves. And this is what we class as a dedicated cloud solution. Okay, so there's lots of benefits to having a partner host it like ourselves. So those include that we'll be able to set up server performance, and that's all managed by ourselves. We can optimize the server for speed, and we can ensure your data is securely backed up based on your backup requirements. And quite useful with partner hosting is projects can be scaled without having to invest in further hardware. If we need to scale up the server or add more storage space, we're able to do that in a really controlled way. So that can really save on lots of additional resources and hardware from your side. So that's a really key benefit of having partners host for you if you are interested in a self-hosted solution. So essentially, partners are specialists in actually managing the servers. If you wanted us to host, we would manage the entire server from setup to ongoing maintenance of the server. So partner hosting would save you time and really provide you peace of mind. Okay, so moving on to look at the pricing for the self-hosted system. So prices start from $2,990 for the Bitrix24 self-hosted system. So that's for the Business 50 edition, so that's the starting license. We do go up to the Enterprise Unlimited license, and that would cost just under $60,000. So that's for the year one cost. In year two and ongoing annually, it's important to budget for the license renewal for the maintenance and updates to the license. And that will cost you approximately 25% of the license fee to have that license renewal. Okay, we mentioned around partner hosting, so you need to budget around $2,250 for 100 gigabytes of hosting for 12 months. Obviously, we can scale that, so if you need additional storage space and capacity, we can work with you to come to our solution for that. If you do need any customizations or integrations, it's important to budget for any of that work to be managed for you. And it's also very critical to have training and ongoing dedicated support. Hopefully, as you've seen today, the self-hosted edition is incredibly advanced. There's lots of areas where you can make changes. And if you've not trained up well on the system, if you don't have ongoing support, it's very easy to make mistakes in this system and break the product. So training and ongoing support are really essential to maintaining a self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. Okay, so in summary today, we've had a real key focus on the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. We've seen how we can completely customize the system. Starting off with the branding, we can rebrand the system, we can create our own pages and modules within the system, and also make changes to simplify the UI of the product so we get engagement and buy-in from the team who are using the system. And really it's important to see that as a very long-term goal, because it means you're going to get a better self-hosted system. It will be more than a cloud. In the long run, it works out to a better return on investment. We've seen how we can integrate different platforms, so you might want to integrate your finance systems, for example, or mailboxes directly into the system, and then put out additional features available on the self-hosted system, such as the help desk module and the e-learning system.